Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nuril Ababil. My ID number 2341010600006. And now I want to explain my poster presentation. Okay, for the first, the title is Listening Skill as a Foundation for Peace, Integrating Conceptual Understanding and Practical Application Across Education and Developmental Contexts. Okay, I choose this title because it synthesizes three distinct studies on listening skill from accounting education, infants with hearing aids, and English language learning into the systematic review. The structure follow a clear sequence as abstract, introduction, research question, the study, finding, and for the last conclusion. Okay, begin from abstract. This interrogation consider listening skill across deserved contexts, accounting education, infant development of hearing, and learning English. In accounting, listening support LTL leadership and organizational culture, but remains underemphasized within the curriculum in the pediatric audiology. Longitudinal evidence suggests outcome of listening in children with hearing aids and distinguished by severity of hearing loss and hearing aid use. In language teaching, listening competence and general know-how are interdependent, influencing comprehension. Taken together, the research bring attention to listening as a multifaceted critical skill determined by context, development, and pedagogy, and calls for more research and specific intervention to ensure its development in many fields. Okay, I got a key context. The key context is highlight listening as a complex contextual skill supporting LTL leadership in accounting, auditory development in infants, and language comprehension. It calls for target intervention to advance listening across discipline. The explanation, a quick summary of the interdisciplinary benefits of listening and the urgency of the further research. Okay, next is introduction. Listening skills are essential in most areas education, vocational training, and cognitive growth, but their specific development, testing, and definition have been understood under research. Under research, the three select article illuminate this gap from diverse perspective. Listening and counting education establishes pedagogical and moral implication. The infant hearing aid study over clinical and development result, and the study of general competence in a listening present cognitive and linguistic challenge considered collectively. These studies demonstrate that listening is not merely passive reception, but a context-sensitive, skill-based, and multi-phase activity. Among the issues that stand to be given specific attention are underestimation of listening in course heterogeneity review aims to systematic findings from the different contexts in an attempt to identify overarching issues and recommend a direction for incorporating in future teaching practice and research. Ultimately, to yield more comprehension, helpful knowledge of listening skill. Okay. The key context is not the lack of in-depth research on the development, assessment, and definition of listening. Emphasize that listening is not passive process but a skilled, context-sensitive activity. The explanation frames the research problem and gap in literature. And here there is question systematic review. How are listening skills conceptualized, taught, and assessed across educational, professional, and development contexts? What are the key factors influencing the development and activities of listening skill in different populations? Example, professionals, influence with hearing aids and language learners. And the last, in what way insight from different disciplinary approaches to listening be integrated to inform more effective teaching, assessment, and the interview strategies? Okay, uh, the key content from this question systematic review for the first, how listening conceptualize, talk, and assess it in different contexts. The second, what key factors influence listening development in different population. And the third, how finding across field can be integrated into more effective teaching or intervention strategies. Okay, for the next is the study. The study, a systematic review employs a structured approach to gather synthesis existing research. Investigators initially formulate clear question and inclusion criteria, then seek out relevant literature specific keyword and database to optimize coverage and reduce. Once the literature is gathered, a descriptive analysis is conducted. Key information like research design, population, and findings, followed by thematic coding, where the content of each article is common of emerging themes. Of example, the localization of within communication, education, or cognitive development. The times is carried out in the final step to hunt for patterns, gaps, and where more research is needed. The synthesis has a strong emphasis on comparing findings across studies, identifying consistent result or contradiction, and evaluating the quality of the evidence. Thus, this research do more than simply review what is known, but also provide perceptive analysis and recommendation for additional research in the field. Okay, the key context is systematic step formulating review question and inclusion criteria, researching database, descriptive analysis, thematic coding, mapping themes, and systems finding to identify research gap. And the examples ensure objectivity and transparency in the literature review. This is the main mapping is importance of listening, academic success, cognitive and language development in events, genre competitive and comparison. So, assessment and measurement, little ears auditory questionnaire, infant hearing, listening, and journey-based performance assessment. An influencing factor is technology, X, age and auditory exposure, cognitive and strategic listening skill gaps, and future research is longitudinal tracking of listening development, contextual comprehension, and innovative teaching and assessment tools. Okay, I want explain about the findings. Okay, the first article listed up Pacey et al. 2025 highlights for the first article highlights in understanding of listening skill in accounting education and identifies gap in the conceptualization and empirical research of listening and purpose agendas for future research and teaching. Listening is found to be vital not only for professional communication but also for fostering ethical organization cultures. However, it is often undervalued in the curriculum and professional standards. So the second article by Visam examines listening development in UK infants using hearing aids. The study found that while many infants with mild to moderate hearing uh, less achieve normative listening development, those with severe to profound loss often fell below expected levels, particularly with reduced hearing aid use. This longitudinal data emphasize the role consistent device use is in supporting auditory development. For the third article by Shen and Chen, investigates the relationship between listening skill and journey competence among Chinese English majors. Using diagnostic models, the study found the genre competence and listening skill have existence, comparatory, and contributory relationship. Students familiar with specific genres, especially lecture, performed better in listening tests, indicating the importance of genre knowledge listening comparison. Okay. Uh, for the first article, is listening accounting education is crucial for ethical culture, but is overlooked in curricula or sorry, overlooked in curriculum. For the second article, in infants with hearing loss, listening development depends on severity and consistency of hearing aids use. For the third article, general competence acts as compensatory factor Chinese student listening test performance. Okay, for the explanation is about three articles is emphasize how broad and specific the variables influence listening can be. Okay. For the last is conclusion. Listening skills are essential across educational and professional contexts. In accounting education, they are underexplored yet vital for ethical leadership and organizational culture. In infants with hearing aids, listening performance varies with hearing loss severity and hearing aid usage. In language learner, listening skill and journey competence interact to shape comprehension. Together, the studies emphasize the need for target listening interaction, longitudinal assessment, and integrate models to enhance listening development and effectiveness across diverse domains. Yes, for the key context of this conclusion is all studies highlight the need for intentional listening interaction, longitudinal assessment, and integrate models to optimize listening development across domains. And the explanation concludes with a call to action for educate research and practitioners. Okay, that's enough from me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.